For the past 6 years, the Mississippi Songwriters Festival has showcased the talents of songwriters, from people who write as a hobby to those who have hit songs playing on the radio. But another aspect of the festival is supporting music education and teaching children how they can tell their stories through a song. That's right, Dave. Ingalls Shipyard is about to undergo a $60 million upgrade, and officials tell me $40 million of that will come from Huntington Ingalls and another $20 million in state bonds. Yes, just a little while ago, I spoke to Harrison County Coroner Gary Hargrove. He told me while this is an open investigation, right now it is being treated as a homicide. Let me take you through what happened. Earlier this afternoon, construction workers smelled a very foul odor coming from this drainage ditch here on Three Rivers Road. They walked over and found a white male floating in the ditch. Moss Point police call these murders barbaric. They say back on April 14th of 2006, 26-year-old Gary Riley and 24-year-old Brandon Taylor were found shot to death inside of a vehicle on Hilma Street here in Moss Point. Weather has calmed down a bit now. It's only sprinkling, but there was a downpour earlier, and you can see behind me the aftermath of all that rain and what East Biloxi drivers have to deal with because of it. Well, Christina, right now I'm at the Biloxi Civic Center where a mayoral forum is underway. Now, forums are great opportunities for voters to learn more about the candidates and where they stand. Now, the city of Biloxi also did its part this week with a mail out to create more informed voters.
Danielle Thomas tells us more.
Well, Jocko Engels runs an organization called King's Second Chance. He says his dog Mo was one of more than 50 therapy dogs trained over the years to help veterans. Today, Mo was cremated, and Engels says in his grief, there is also anger and disappointment.
As details right now from the newsroom. Danielle.
Well, Dave, the Fort Bayou Volunteer Fire Department responded to Mallory Drive in St. Martin shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Officials say they believe that lightning struck a tree and the force traveled to the ground, causing a gas line to rupture. There was some minor damage to the water line there in that area, but no one was injured. Dave? Now, witnesses tell me Marshall Smith was also assaulting a second woman who police later told me was his sister. Police also believe the altercation was because Marshall Smith had taken his mother's car without permission and that she had gone to retrieve it. That's right, Christina. I'm here at the Biloxi Visitor Center where the party is still going strong. As you can see, Fofo Gilchrist supporters are here and they are thrilled. In fact, they were watching the TV set earlier tonight, and every time those election results would come up on WLOX, you would hear a loud cheer. That's right, Dave. Starting October 12th through October 30th, you will have your chance to let Mississippi Power know how you want your refund, whether it be in a credit or the form of a check. Now, officials say if you don't make your preference known, you may not get the result that you want. That's right, Karen. If you are not hungry right now, you will be as soon as you arrive here at Hiller Park. It smells delicious out here as we are celebrating the Jamaican Jamboree. And here to tell me a little bit more about it is Kevin Kisner. Tell me about what kind of events you're having here today.
Well, we are here today celebrating Jamaica 50 years of Jamaican goodies and cookies and sweet treats.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Of course, later on, I'm told that there's a dance contest. So if you want to come out here and show off your moves or maybe learn a few moves, come on out. It goes out until about 9:30 tonight. Now back to you in the studio.
To possible land swaps, Danielle Thomas has a story.
Well, Christina, former Keesler Commander Clark Griffith is on the Biloxi Mayor's committee to come up with new ideas on how to build that new main gate. But with post 9/11 rule changes, Griffith says the current gate just isn't up to Air Force standards. And he says that's something the community truly can't afford. This isn't the first time plans have been on the table to move Keesler's main gate to Division Street. When the Desport family had to relocate their seafood business 14 years ago, they picked Division Street after hearing similar discussions.
It'll bring back businesses that were here before and businesses that are hurting because the traffic's bad. You know, a lot of businesses went out of business and other businesses are having a hard time because of the traffic flow.
But not everyone is excited to have more traffic on Division. Some people who live in the area say morning backups from the nearby Forest Avenue gate are a headache.
I mean, I can understand why they may want to do that, but I think for the residents, this is a very residential area, as opposed to White Avenue, I think it will make it very difficult for all the neighbors.
A busier division would also mean Biloxi would have to make road improvements. Former base commander Clark Griffith says for the gate to be eligible for transportation grants, division needs to be 5 lanes all the way to I-110.
Nobody has any money, so how do you pay for it? I think what the new mayor's doing, he says there's got to be a way that we can do this. So let's get the right people together and let's figure out a way to do that.
The retired lieutenant general says what's easy to figure out is that moving the gate to division will improve base security.
It won't be right there at the railroad tracks like White Avenue is. The area we're talking about was all base housing. Well, that washed away. So those have not been replaced over there. So we've got plenty of land over there that we can bring that gate on further in.
Now, Griffith says 6 houses would have to be purchased to build the new gate. And after talking with residents in the community, I found out that at least 3 of those houses are rental properties. Christina?
Danielle Thomas joins us live from West Biloxi.
Well, Bishop James Black and Reverend Jason Johnson tell me they're not only pastors in this community, they're also business owners. And they say lately there are many people in this community who don't feel like they can safely let their children go out and play. Now, the pastors don't want to see people go to jail, but they do want to see them do something more productive with their lives. As the owner of this rental house on Iberville Drive, Bishop James Black says he has a lot of trouble finding people who move in and don't quickly move out.
I've had a tendency to move out because of the drug trafficking that we see here, but not just Iberville Drive, it's also Rosenberg Avenue, McDonald Avenue, and then on the corners and doing things of that nature. One thing we want to see change is people becoming more productive. Most of these are grown folks walking the streets all day.
Bishop Black and Reverend Jason Johnson say they're concerned about the drug dealing and drunkenness they see going on in these streets.
Particularly on Rosenberg Avenue, where you have a community of homeowners. Older people have been there for years and years, many of whom are afraid to come outside and to enjoy their porches.
We don't want to see crime. We don't want to see people afraid to come here and live on this side of Biloxi. We want people to feel like they're safe and that their children can play outside.
Both Johnson and Black have churches in this community. They don't want the troublemakers to have a change of address, but a change of heart.
We don't want the people to go away. This is a community. Again, in ministry, we help people, we feed people, we pray for people. My church personally, this month, we're going to get out here and knock on doors and try to find out what's going on with people and invite them to church and just try to figure out what's going on with them.
Now, the Biloxi police chief tells me he has stepped up patrols in this area and is in the process of organizing a neighborhood business watch. He believes that there is a small percentage of people who are causing the problems here, and he needs for everyone in the neighborhood who witnesses criminal activity to pick up the phone and call the police. 16-year-old Pascagoula High sophomore Andrew Panny and business economics and marketing teacher William Denton were sitting in class when their lives changed in a flash.
I sat down as I was going to touch the computer and turn it off. So when a big bright light went off, like a really intense feeling in my legs. And so then I thought like, crap, I just got shot. And I went and checked my legs and I was like looking all around on the floor, like, was there blood or anything like that?
Panny had not been shot. Lightning had struck the school building and traveled down the wall. Denton, who was sitting a few feet away, also felt the impact.
Just all of a sudden, a giant blue flash came right down this wall and a giant boom hit. Next thing I knew after seeing that, I'm back here in the chair and
it knocked you back?
It knocked me back apparently because all I saw was blue flash and next thing I'm here.
After yelling for his students to move away from the computers, Denton says the reality of what happened began to sink in.
Andrew was asking me, if I was okay, and it's almost like I was in shock and couldn't answer him right after it happened. And, immediately muscles were locking up and tingling and went numb. So took a good 10, 15 seconds to start settling down and acknowledge that, okay, we're all alive.
The doctor said, it could either been really, really bad or what it was now. He said, you could have died. I just think that God was over me and, he protected me through what I was going through.
In Pascagoula, Danielle Thomas, WLOX News. Well, it took millions and millions of dollars to get Highway 90 back to where it is today. However, the recovery story for this major thoroughfare is far from over. For much of late 2005, the only traffic on Highway 90 in Harrison County was emergency vehicles and crews doing road repair work.
It was impassable completely. There was a large amount of debris from the various buildings and residences from this area. Of course, the pavement had been undermined and buckled in, and basically our job was to try to get it to where we could get traffic back on it.
Some traffic finally got back on 90 in December 2005 after $25 million worth of temporary patchwork to open one lane in each direction. MDOT officials say it took another $100 million to completely repair the 26-mile stretch, which they say is a superior road to the one Katrina destroyed.
The highway before had, it was an older highway. There were some aspects of some lane widening that was needed, to some curb. Of course, the traffic signal also improved from the technology we had when we first put it in.
But the recovery of Highway 90 goes beyond asphalt and traffic lights. Local leaders say this road is a major artery in the heart of the coast economy.
Tourism is 25% of our economy. It's our #1 driver and our #1 priority. We've got the aquarium project that we're working on. We've got other projects further down Highway 90 that are extremely important to us. New restaurants, new commercial businesses that are coming in. And we're working really hard so that Highway 90 and all of the tourists that travel here, the high traffic count, are able to enjoy Gulfport the way we can fully develop it out.
It's not just commercial development being encouraged. Gulfport offers a tax abatement for those building homes along the beachfront.
We can't just give money, but a tax abatement is something that by statute we're allowed to do.
This is the third beachfront house contractor Kevin Taylor has built in recent years.
And a lot of people have bought property coming in from out of state. I know they love the area, but personally I think they see quite an affordable investment for beachfront property. Compared to different parts of the country, we're a bargain down here and we got a lot to offer.
Taylor is president of the Home Builders Association of the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He says alternative building techniques are creating windows of opportunity.
These types of construction methods are a little bit more expensive to start with, but you really do see the savings on the insurance side.
When the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina arrives, some local leaders envision a Highway 90 that's more packed with tourists heading to enjoy many beachfront attractions.
The biggest challenge, I think it's just time that it takes to put deals together has been the challenge. We're standing here on this beautiful 10 acres. It's going to be over a year before we can begin construction on the aquarium. Projects just take longer than I definitely want them to.
Now, one of the upgrades MDOT made along Highway 90 is in the turning lanes. Before, there were sensors underneath the road to detect when cars were waiting to turn, but now those sensors are in the traffic lights, which MDOT officials say work better and are easier to repair. Gulfport police say Anisha Daniels lost her life because she got caught in the middle of a drug deal gone sour between her 25-year-old son Gregory Daniels and 3 other men.
Much of this violent crime is associated with the illegal sales of controlled substances.
A shooting on Sunday at an apartment complex left Robert Johnson dead. According to investigators, Robert Johnson and his brother Tevin Johnson tried to confront a man who was with his girlfriend and small child, who then retreated to their apartment for safety.
The Johnsons pursued in their vehicle while brandishing firearms. Tavon Johnson observed the male victim and shot at him from the courtyard. The victim armed himself with a shotgun. The victim then returned gunfire. Then the victim notified the police.
The chief says the attitude some people have towards the police is not helping.
I'm sick and tired of hearing this no snitching, don't work with the police. And it's the same group of people that'll come belly aching how good a person these criminals were right before they died. And it's sad because we shouldn't be losing our young people to crime. But if we sit back and we allow this, Robin, we allow them to live these lifestyles that they're living, How are we supposed to be surprised when they lay dead in a parking lot?
Police say part of the blame is with the media, both social media and mainstream.
Look at Facebook. Look at how many of our young people depicting themselves with drugs, guns, and money. We accept that. That's our national profile now. Speak ill of the police and glamorize criminal lifestyle. And then y'all wonder what we're going to do about it?
In Gulfport, Danielle Thomas, WLOX News. Now, all of the firefighters in the department are civilians, and they will now move on to compete against the top fire departments and the other branches of the Department of Defense. Now, back to you in the studio, Christina. Karen Reynolds loves to introduce children to the art of songwriting.
And these kids' minds are wide open. That is our future. How they communicate, the ideas, the creativity, and the art that I believe that will come out of these students is going to change the world.
I love it so much, I just might never leave. True. 'Cause I love Van Cleve.
Reynolds told fifth graders at Van Cleve Upper Elementary, whatever they can think about, they can write a song about.
I learned a lot about how you can write songs and how you can write songs about anything.
Anything in the world, in your mind or in anything, you write it down on a piece of paper and write a song about it.
I'm not waiting around no more.
Once sparking kids' interest in writing songs, the Mississippi Songwriters Alliance will help foster their talents through an ongoing partnership with the school.
We're looking for the youth to come up, and we might be talking to the next really great songwriters. Some of the next best songs, to ever be heard, we might be talking to the writers now and just waiting for them to develop and find that inspiration.
Anything that we really want to have is worth working hard for. And sometimes their self-esteem and believing in themselves takes a beating. And I think it's extremely important for them to understand how worthy they are and how important they are.
The Mississippi Songwriters Alliance donated 2 ukuleles as well as instructional materials to the school. Now, for more information about the Mississippi Songwriters Festival, visit our website at WLOX.com.